Hello, this is Michael Ensor with Advertising Report Card, and today we have a great report card to go over. This is for ecomoversmoving.com. It's a moving industry in the Seattle area, looking to expand into some different networks as well, some city expansions. We have a lot of good data to look at, and we have some pretty good ideas of what we could do to improve. So the first thing is how the advertising report card works. We're going to do an initial review of the marketing strategy and then a video recording of what to go through and fix, things that are holding you back, things that you could do better, things your competitors are doing, what they're doing bad and what they could do better. So this is going to give you a good idea of what to look at as far as your opportunity goes as well. After this, we'll have a Q&A discussion and then guidance on next steps regarding how you want to proceed and what that would look like, including a revenue calculator to give you projections. So first, the way that we're going to go through this is we're going to cover a little bit of everything: website, SEO, Google Ads, and social ads. Priority is on looking at the website and some things that can get sewn up there that would help with conversions. What's holding you back for SEO? Where you were wasting budget on Google Ads, and then a quick review over the opportunity that you have on social to generate leads. So without further ado, let's jump directly into it. So we did have a quick discussion with Eco Movers before I recorded this video. I wanted to go back through what we had discussed and then also open up some new information, but this way we have this for reference. So with the site tech audit, the main thing that we're looking for are different issues that could be holding your site back. The technology covers a lot of different aspects of this, and this is mainly for user experience and then also how your SEO is impacted. So with any regular managed SEO program, you're looking to not have any of these core aspects missing, and these were all things that got flagged for. Missing meta description. This is something that should be done on every page whenever you are doing SEO. There should never be a missing meta description. Low text to HTML ratio. This is a content-driven issue. So when you have pages that you could put more content on to help you rank more, this report basically flagged 24 pages that are just low in text in general that, if improved, would help you with your ranking. Similar to the missing meta description, your missing alt attributes are also items that should be done with a regular SEO managed program, because these are the fundamental things that have been recommended by Google for a long time to have. It's a contributing effect when it comes to your ranking. It's not like just doing one or the other of these is going to completely move the needle. All of these things need to be managed on a consistent basis, especially if you're creating new content. Missing H1, this is a very big one because it's very simple to fix. Only 3 pages, of course, but this isn't something that you'd want to have overlooked ever on the site. So making sure that that's taken care of is important. One big core thing I wanted to point out was the unminified JavaScript and CSS files. On WordPress, this is easily accomplished. This is also plaguing 204 different sections of your website. This is a huge thing for page speed. Page speed is absolutely a ranking factor, the same way that having a HTTPS domain is a ranking factor now. Google says if the page loads slow, it affects the user experience. If the user experience is negative from your site, it's a negative ranking factor, because Google's not going to show slow sites on the top of results, because then people will have to keep looking for the results that they're trying to find. I have this written out in more description here in the document, but I wanted to roll through this because there's a lot to cover. So as you can see here, there's some more warnings. URLs with temporary redirects, they should be 301 redirects. That's something that can be fixed and vetted whenever you start an SEO program. Typically you want to pull a full index of the site, figure out what the issues are, and get them fixed. So that's something that you can knock out with a managed SEO program in the first month. Outgoing internal links. If you have social media programs, your Google Maps location, those are the things you want to link out to. But the problem with this is you're not just linking out to your own assets and your own branded content. You're also linking out to third-party providers. So if there's a partnership involved, that would make sense, but I'd be careful about linking out to third parties. And if you look at an example of this, rentable moving boxes from your primary navigation, actually pushes you off the website entirely. So I highlighted this in the last video recording. So the last video recording and this one in conjunction, we'll go over these in more detail. Main thing is that you shouldn't do that. Is if you're going to link out to a third party, you shouldn't have it on the main navigation, because you could be sending people elsewhere, and it keeps people from booking with you and becoming leads. So that's the main thing you want to look at. So on this, in essence, is the main core aspects of what we found on the technical audit. The next thing I wanted to bring up was just the general notices. So the outgoing external links, again, is an issue. Some of them were flagged. Other ones were just in general. But, I mean, unless you're a news site, there's really no reason to have that many outgoing external links. So I was curious as to why that is set up the way that is. And then also managing your links is a huge aspect of your ranking. Having people link to your site or having backlinks, of course, is a major part of SEO, but also linking out to other sites. There's pros and cons to it. So you just have to be careful about how you are managing that, and it doesn't look like it's being managed very much. So another thing too with links is the anchor text. Anchor text needs to be done in a strategic way. It's one of the oldest ranking factors, because you can link to a website, but what it says in that alt text, like when you hover over a link, those words, that's something that can definitely indicate to Google what needs to be ranked about that link. Is that link relevant? Is it just contact us, or is it including a keyword? Is it including a description? And there's a lot of links on your site that have no anchor text at all, which is odd as well, because on WordPress, typically all links should have anchor text, because if the link itself is hypertext, like for instance, some text on a page, as an example, warehouse storage on your website, see that little thing that is underneath, that's anchor text. So even if you don't program anchor text into your links, WordPress typically makes it easy for Google to read, okay, well, this is the anchor text, it's auto-applying from this text here. So the fact that there's so many of that on your site's a little peculiar as well. Getting that fixed is literally just going in and adding the anchor text. It's not required to be a very difficult issue. And then some other items like pages blocked from crawling, more than one H1 tag. This could have an impact on what you want Google to rank on the page, and if Google can't determine it, then it will just treat both the same and neither as a priority. So a few errors just across the board. Cleaning this up is going to mainly help your SEO efforts. The major thing that's a user-friendly issue is the page speed, which you got flagged for on a lot of different pages on the site. So getting that cleaned up is absolutely a priority. As far as CRO goes, we don't always do CRO audits, but when we do, it's because we immediately find things that are going to hurt conversion rates. So if you're going to use a Google ad campaign to drive traffic, or social ads, or you're going to want to work on your SEO, you don't want to send all that traffic to a page that's not going to convert. So the main thing here is the home page. The whole above fold section is just one big image, and it's not HTML. It's just, as you can see here, one big image, right? And it's also on a slider. Do not recommend sliders. If you have a section here built to convert, having the form right here and a phone number is really big. If you're going to do promotion on these services, they should link to the actual discount that you're offering, so people can then fill out a form to achieve getting that discount. Right now, from the time we did our first call about 2 weeks ago to now, looks like some things have changed. For instance, this image is no longer clickable, but now you're still running into the same issues, right? You're getting the experience where someone's probably going to try to click on this and they can't. So it's called a rage click, actually, when you try to click on something and you're not getting the response that you're looking for. So that's something that's taking place right now on this site. And that's also the most important page of your website, is your home page. The most important part of the home page is this above the fold section. It's also called the hero section. It's supposed to be doing the majority of the work for your website. If people can't convert right here, you're definitely missing out on conversions automatically because of that. I have a whole list of recommendations here as well, but wanted to highlight that specifically. And then also, this was the page that area linked to before. The main thing I wanted to point out with this section is if you scroll down on this discount page, you still are not getting an ability to convert. You have validation from the reviews on the right, but you should have a contact form there. The sticky footer is not a bad idea. It's definitely going to help capture people who are unable to find a way to get an estimate, but it should never be that difficult to figure out. So definitely keep this sticky footer, but the actual page layouts themselves is what you're going to want to work on. Last but not least, navigation. If you look at this navigation, it is busy. There's a lot going on up here. Consolidating this would be beneficial. Moving impact, moving resources, rentable moving boxes. I would tuck all of these underneath About Us because you don't have a lot of items here anyways. And then that way you can focus on the service. Maybe have these all show up on one line versus two. You can see here it's a little cleaner looking when it's all on one line. And there's a few other recommendations in this report, but I wanted to highlight some of these core aspects of the website. So that's the technical audit and the CRO portion. Let's move into SEO and then start discussing your PPC as well. So as far as the overall ranking goes, the website isn't in a terrible position because you're ranking for a lot of keywords. The main thing is that you're losing your ranking over time. And while you might have a little spurt of some organic traffic come through, your overall keyword ranking is falling down. Your authority score is not bad either. I have a definition of authority score, so there's an understanding of how this works. But the main thing I wanted to hop into immediately is why you're losing keywords and some of the things that we need to look at. So as far as the referring domain goes, you have a lot of backlinks that are considered toxic. And what that means is they're sketchy. They don't hold value as a website itself. It's literally just a way to stack backlinks, which sometimes can happen depending on who you work with for SEO. So that's one of the main things I wanted to jump into. I'm actually going to scroll to that section now. So if you look at these subdomains, and this is an example list right here, I'll zoom in on this so that you can see it a little bit better. You can see it's Alan 800.Bilal Majzu. So maybe you had someone from a different country doing your SEO at one point in time, but it looks like a lot of these backlinks are very spammy. Combined with high-risk toxic backlinks and medium risk, you're at 121 backlinks that are considered toxic, and then you have 131 considered non-toxic. So almost half of your backlink profile is considered toxic. You're also losing some because some of the backlinks are breaking as well. You're gaining some new ones too, but would be really important to make sure that you don't gain any more toxic backlinks. It's important to also use a system to manage this. So what we recommend as far as dealing with these pesky toxic backlinks is a series that this is what we do internally. But the main thing you want to do is you want to disavow any of these backlinks. So you want to make sure that you are also reaching back out to whatever site owner has them and ask them to delete the links. You want to disavow them through Google Search Console, and any backlinks that are considered good, you want to whitelist. The idea behind this is to touch every backlink, good or bad, and keep it manageable so that you're not dealing with toxic backlinks stacking up on your profile. This by itself could be dragging down your overall SEO score. There's a few other things that we found as well, including in the tech report. But this is one thing in general you're definitely going to want to look at a little closer and have a managed program to where you are dealing with those issues. So next in the report is position tracking and visibility. One thing that you can see here is consistently at the top 20 level, you're losing keywords. You're gaining a few new ones, but the ones that you're gaining are not necessarily your priority keywords either. But you can see at the top 3, you've lost 5 just in when we pulled this report. So whatever decline is occurring is happening fairly rapidly. We definitely want to try to get ahead of this between fixing the tech issues with the website, increasing the conversion rate, and then monitoring the backlinks a little bit closer. That in itself, without even adding a blog post or changing the content on a page, should benefit you. So definitely want to get ahead of that. It is slightly alarming to see overall those falling. As you know, they say the safest place to hide a dead body is the second page of Google because people never go there. Top 20 in Google basically means you're on like the second or third page. Top 100 is effectively just showing that your ability to rank for keywords. But ranking any keyword in the top 100 is not a huge objective. It's really wanting to focus on the positions that are going to drive you traffic. So while this looks positive, you're gaining keywords. Some of these keywords you're gaining are not exactly relevant, and we'll go into that as well. But you want to focus on the keywords that are going to drive your money when it comes to the getting estimates from this traffic. You want keywords that are service city area, niche service city area, services near me, and then just the overall service keywords, which are the more competitive keywords to rank for. All of the other ones that are auxiliary, which we'll jump into here in a second, they don't drive as much revenue. So while you might have some keywords ranking, they might not be really moving the needle for you, which is something to be concerned about. So let's scroll back through here. Again, highlighting the backlinks that are sketchy. One thing that you can always keep an eye on for this is, of course, a toxicity score. But if the domains are weird, they're probably a part of a link farm or a PBN, a private blog network. It's basically people syndicating content to try to spoof Google into ranking a website better. So absolutely never want to see backlinks like this. And if you ever do, managing them is really important. Another indication of those spammy backlinks and what you can look for is if the referring domain to your domain authority score is low, then chances are the backlinks aren't that good. But if you go back up to the section where we define authority score, sorry, 1 second, you can see that you're at a 23. So ideally, you would only want websites above 23 linking to your website. The fact that 70% of the backlinks that link to your website are below 20 means that they are absolutely dragging your ability to increase your authority score down. So that's something that you really want to take a look at and figure out where you can get better links from. So some of this stuff is good. So you can see you have some aspects of different websites pointing to your website as beneficial, like Move Buddha, House Method, and other things that are relevant. Some of these other items are not, like NetFreeHost is a video game website. Why is that linking there? Probably a sketchy backlink. So this is the Google Ads audit. I wanted to jump into this section specifically because you guys have spent a decent amount of budget, and I wanted to jump into your actual campaigns and add that to this report. Main thing is we use third-party tools to do scans of domains to find anything that we can regarding what has been ran on the domain itself. We did see some patterns over the past couple years of keywords being added and bidded on and keywords being removed. And as of right now, we have also pulled a report showing a lot of irrelevant keywords that you were showing up for. And the main thing I wanted to talk about that with is if you actually look at the campaign itself, this is from your account on the back end, you have a lot of spend on bad keywords. Truck rental, piano movers, semi-relevant in the essence that if you want to focus on that, go for it, but those are usually smaller jobs unless you're figuring out a way to move a piano into a condo or something like that. If you have the trucks to do that, if those are the types of jobs you want to focus on, those are pretty niche, but a lot of the time, people looking for furniture movers are looking for small moving jobs. They don't usually drive bigger estimates, so you want to be careful about your cost per click. 2 Men in a Truck, a competitor. Kangaroo movers, you spent $375 just on this keyword. 27 clicks on this competitor. Driving competitor traffic can be good. It's called conquest, but it's never good to do on accident. So this is actually showing for a different keyword, and you are getting that traffic from a competitor. One of the most painful responses from this, when we saw the reports, was moving boxes. You spent almost $900 the lifetime of your account on a keyword moving boxes. Now, I understand that you have a link on your website for moving boxes, but I'm sure that that's not where you want to spend your ad spend. U-Haul, another example. People looking for U-Haul, not necessarily looking to hire a moving company the same way enterprise truck rental doesn't even have the word moving in it. It could literally just be a truck rental. 40 clicks on that keyword. So what I want to highlight here is a term called waste. I go into more detail above this section, but the main thing is keyword waste is something that has been plaguing your account for the lifetime of the account. It looks like eventually some people went in there and added some negative keywords. So you do have some things that are excluded now, but it's a little too late, and you already spent a ton of budget for the lifetime of this account. You spent $86,000, and just at first glance, the variations of U-Haul spent thousands of budget were spent on these irrelevant keywords. Big issue with that is, out of $86,000, let's say your budget, let's say you wasted $8,000 on bad keywords. That's 10% of your budget. So that amount of money could have produced you a whole lot more leads. As you can see here, you spent $1,300 on the keyword Seattle movers. You spent $784 on U-Haul near me. So imagine if that additional amount was actually in your cost. So that's a major thing I wanted to point out. Another item I wanted to highlight, which is definitely problematic, is you can actually see these numbers say conversion rates and conversions. These numbers are entirely incorrect. If you go into measurement and check conversions, you have a lot going on in here. Store visits, a little odd. Most moving companies don't have people show up at their front door, so this is a mystery statistic of 31 conversions for the entire time you ran your campaigns. I don't know if these are really attached to anything. Lead form submit versus form capture means that 21 of these were double counted. That's the same conversion. Phones double counted. Actually, let's pull the whole thing up here. It looks like you have, because Ads Express is a different account associated with the main tracking that I'm showing you here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so as of right now, we have 3 call conversions. Clicks to call is on website, so that's different from calls from ads and tracking phone calls from Google. That's being double counted, so I didn't include that in the double count. It's just the phone call that is. Looks like at one point in time there was an attempt to use the promos to generate leads and traction, but that didn't work and it was never verified, so it doesn't look like this was ever set up. Request a quote, form submissions, lead forms, request a quote. Little confusing. Get directions. This looks spoofed, honestly. Sometimes SEO companies will do CTR manipulation and try to use Google Maps as a direction item, but this costed you money on your account. And then also we have local actions like website visits. So if you look at all these conversions that are tracked in the account, and then you look back at the data, it shows conversion rates of 10%, 20%, 30%, cost per leads like $40 to $60. Those numbers are completely skewed, and you would definitely need to get a fresh start with tracking for attribution, because right now, if you had a campaign using, as an example, target CPA as a bidding strategy like this, what this means is you're optimizing for the conversion. But as you can tell, what are the conversions you're optimizing for? Driving directions? Seems a little odd, right? So it's problematic when you are looking to get real conversions, and also the numbers. It's if the data is off, you're going to be optimizing for the wrong stuff, so you can drive the wrong type of traffic. It actually has the opposite intended impact on performance, which is unfortunate. The only way to really line this up is to have the CRM right next to it and really try to crunch the numbers, because whoever set up this tracking, it was fundamentally done in a lot of different ways, but fundamentally it's done to duplicate track, which I'm not quite sure if it was an accident, if it was on purpose. Sometimes tracking can be used to show performance that's not really there, but other times, if you have multiple providers touch an account, they can set up their own versions of conversion tracking multiple times. Sometimes it's layered over other conversion tracking. Sometimes they use third-party tools like CallRail, and then that can track on top of it. So you just have to be very careful about conversion tracking and making sure that when you run an account, that it's not just tracked, but everything that goes into your CRM is labeled from the account. Very important stuff. And we also have a lot of ad copy variations. Long story short, I mean, the ad copy isn't terrible, but it is not great. We're number one in search results. I can see that you're number one moving company, or Seattle area's top movers. These are variations worth testing, but some of them are not worth testing at all and should have never made it live on an account. Last but not least, paid competitors. You have a list of some of the keywords that we track third party against who you're bidding on. There's 35 other people bidding on them as well. Benefit that you have is only a few of them are doing it really well, so you have some competition there. But the main thing is beating out this competition isn't beyond you. I think that there's definitely a lot of room for you to overcome the other quality scores that are in the auction, because some of the other ads are pretty bad. Some of the other landing pages of those ads are also equally bad. What they're bidding on isn't necessarily the most strategic way of bidding. So there's a lot of different things that you can do to beat out your competition. But I would definitely recommend some of the CRO recommendations get implemented first. You don't want to send the traffic to a landing page off of your website. Likewise, if you send them to one page on the website, if it's not 100% relevant to what they're searching for, then they might click off. The best thing you're really going to want to do, and I always recommend this, is using the website and optimizing the conversion rate of the website across all the different pages. Because PPC, yeah, you can pick a URL to send the traffic to, but if you're doing SEO, which is always going to be another one of a website's majority of the revenue generation is going to come from people who find you online, find your reviews, and want to work with you. You want the website to convert. So putting all your energy into a landing page, just one landing page, and getting it to convert is great, but where's the benefit to the rest of the website? What are we doing for the rest of the website that's going to get it to convert better? So that's really where the logic comes into that, and using heat mapping, scroll tracking, click tracking, and analytics to compare your performance so that you're making those changes to the website, and that your core pages, like your category page for local movers, is structured a certain way, and that these individual service pages are structured a certain way so that when people get to those pages based off of what they're looking for, they are more likely to convert. So last but not least, one thing I wanted to point out on the social ads audit is based off of the competitors that you submitted during onboarding. All service moving, not running ads, also has a duplicate page. Looks like one is for recruiting, now hiring 19. So they're already going to be confused in the auction as well. Structure that. Handsome Bros, 0 results for ads. Seattle Professional Movers, no one's running ads here. This is a weird page in general. I actually haven't ever seen this before. Their page has 0 likes and 0 followers. Whoever set this up for them didn't even give the page its first like. So on Facebook and Instagram, you have a lot of opportunity in your area because your competitors are doing nothing. So keep that in mind. Social media not going to be the number one driver of business. Out of all the campaigns we've ran for SEO and PPC is always going to achieve more revenue, even if there's more traffic from SEO, because PPC, we're allowed to pick what services we're running for. We're not just doing catch-all traffic with PPC. With Google Ads, you can be like a laser and laser target specific zip codes, specific income areas, specific types of moving jobs that have a higher average revenue. Speaking of which, I wanted to end this video with one of the main discussion topics when we have our call. This is the revenue calculator that we use to help people come up with an idea of what to expect if they enter in different channels. So this is for PPC, and what I have here is a comparable budget to what you had spent before at $10,000 a month. And you can see the daily ad spend from that is $333, annual ad spend $120,000. So $10,000 a month. We have our monthly management fee in here as well, and then you can see your total expense table here. So this is your total expense out the gate for running this type of a strategy for the year. Next, we're looking at your average cost per click. You can tell from what we pulled up on your account before. What we are looking at for that varies greatly, especially because we had a lot of junk keywords. We have 11, 19, and 26. I'm a worst case scenario kind of guy. So what I'm going to check out here is an example of what we could do for worst case scenario. So let's just make the cost per click 30. Very high, very competitive cost per click. At $10,000 per month, you're only getting 33 leads. Leads to sales. So this percentage is how many leads you get and how many people you get on the phone. Everybody that we work with says the same thing about this. You're not giving 100% of your leads estimates because sometimes people just don't answer the phone. Sometimes people don't respond to the email. What we do hear a lot of is if people get on the phone, 70 to 80% of the time they're closing that deal, right? So leads to sales calls, what we'll do here is we'll put in 70. This is based off of, again, some more averages that we've been given from other companies. And then sales to calls at 70 as well. Now, the next thing we want to look at is the average sale per job. Now, this is a number that we typically get out of the CRM. Main thing is we want to play with this because let's just say on the average job, like if you look at all jobs ever done, let's just punch in 1,500. What you can see here is you are now net profit negative from the investment in Google Ads. This is based off of a 25% profit margin. So this is where the discussion about the difference between PPC and SEO comes into play. With Google Ads, we can pick where we show our ads, who we show our ads to, and control that bid so that we're only going to get jobs that are of higher value. One of the major things that we're able to do in this instance is moving and packing. As long as the site does a good idea of explaining the value of the whole process of moving and packing, and also unpacking if you have additional services that you can offer, this number goes up. So when it comes to a full move and pack of a house on the lower end, we're looking at around 4,000. So you can see your net profit positive now, but not by a big mean, right? What happens when we start to control the bid? And we have a 10 out of 10 quality score and we're controlling the ad auction. We take the average cost per click down from 30 to 20, which you can see here is the net profit goes up even further. Let's say that we do the CRO fixes on your website. This is the conversion rate of traffic on your website. We have this at 10%. Let's say we move that to 15%. You can see that those nominal movements in the strategy behind the campaign have a massive impact on your net profit. So what we would want to do in a perfect scenario is make sure that we are only going after services that generate good revenue, that we're controlling the cost per click, we're increasing the clicks to conversion rate, we're driving only qualified leads, and that way you have a consistent higher amount of average. Now, what you can look at once you've accomplished these things is if you change the monthly ad spend, let's say we add another $5,000, you can see the net profit continues to increase over time. The more that is added, The main thing is that these numbers are already fixed. You're having a good cost per click. You have a increasing clicks to conversion rate, and then from there, the higher quality the lead, the higher sales rate you're going to have, and then also the higher average dollar per estimate. Now, a major thing here is you can even reduce the clicks even further, and you start to see some real crazy numbers. So it's something that you want to take a look at. You can't just throw money at Google Ads and expect it to perform for you. You have to be calculated about the strategy that you're rolling out. And one major number that you want to look at is that average value per estimate. You want to make sure that that's higher, so then that way you're getting a higher ROI and you're not wasting valuable PPC budget on lower cost jobs. So this is the advertiser report card. You have access to all of these reports, and then also the main report as well. So take a look at this, watch this video. I'm going to send the other video that we did as well. So altogether it's about an hour and a half of content with the different reports. And then from there, let's do a Q&A session to figure out what we can do to help you guys get back on the right track with your campaigns. This is Michael Ensor with the Advertiser Report Card. Thank you for your time. Talk to you soon.